Let's start with question number 12. It's a reasoning based question, and first part in this question is the dipole moment of chlorobenzene is lower than that of cyclohexyl chloride. Dipole moment of chlorobenzene is lower than cyclohexyl chloride. First of all, we need to understand that is it true? Yes, dipole moment of this is lower as compared to this. Why is it so? Why the dipole moment of chlorobenzene is lower than cyclohexyl chloride? What is the reason behind it? How can we explain it? We can explain it on the basis of the polarity of carbon chlorine bond. We should know that greater is the polarity, higher is the dipole moment. And what is polarity? Polarity depends upon difference in electronegativity. Difference in electronegativity of atoms. Higher is the difference in the electronegativity of atoms, then greater will be the polarity of the bond. Now let's take the example of carbon chlorine bond in chlorobenzene. In chlorobenzene, carbon is sp2 hybridized. This carbon is sp2 hybridized. It means it is highly electronegative, or you can say more electronegative. Here this carbon is sp2 hybridized, that is why it is more electronegative, and chlorine is again more electronegative. Now what about cyclohexyl chloride? In case of cyclohexyl chloride, carbon is sp3 hybridized. sp3 hybridized means less electronegative. Carbon is less electronegative here. That is why the difference in electronegativity of this will be higher. Carbon chlorine bond is more polar. That is why the dipole moment of cyclohexyl chloride will be higher. So once more, how can we write this answer in one mark question? We can answer it like this. In chlorobenzene, carbon is sp2 hybridized. That is why the difference in electronegativity of carbon and chlorine is less, and that is why the bond is less polar. While in case of cyclohexyl chloride, carbon is sp3 hybridized. That is why less electronegative, and hence difference in the electronegativity of carbon chlorine is much higher, or you can say bond is more polar. More polar means dipole moment will be higher. So this is how we can explain the answer. Now moving to the second part of the same question, that alkyl halides, though polar, are immiscible with water. What is the meaning of this question? Rx, that is alkyl halide, it is polar in nature. We know that carbon is slightly positively charged and halogen is slightly negatively charged because of its higher electronegativity. So it is a polar compound. But according to the principle like dissolves like, these being polar, it should be soluble in water because water is also polar, but it is insoluble. So the question is why alkyl halide is immiscible with water even after being polar in nature. So how to explain it? We should understand that in case of water, there is a strong hydrogen bonding existing. And to break this hydrogen bonding, high energy is required. High energy is required to break this hydrogen bonding existing between water molecule. Right? Now, when alkyl halide is added to water, there will be some kind of interaction developed between water molecule and alkyl halide molecule. So, this force of attraction is weaker. This is a weaker force of attraction. That is why energy released will be less. While in this case, the force of attraction is stronger because hydrogen bonding. Force of attraction is stronger. More energy required. So, energy released here is not sufficient to break the hydrogen bonding existing between water molecule. So force of attraction here is stronger, so more energy is required, while in case of when alkyl halide is added to water, there will be some force of attraction developed between alkyl halide and water molecule, but these are weak forces of attraction, so energy released is very less, is not sufficient. So how can we conclude it? We can write in this way that energy released because of the new forces of attraction developed between alkyl halide and water is not sufficient to break the hydrogen bonding existing between water molecule. That is why alkyl halides are insoluble in water. Now moving to the third part of this question, that is Grignard reagent should be prepared under anhydrous conditions. So why Grignard reagent should be prepared under anhydrous conditions? This is the formula for Grignard reagent: alkyl magnesium halide. It may be C2H5 MgBr, then it will become ethyl magnesium bromide. So this ethyl magnesium bromide or any alkyl magnesium halide, means any Grignard reagent, should be used under anhydrous conditions. Why is it so? Because it will react with moisture, it will react with water to give the corresponding alkane. So this R will be combining with the H of it, and we will be getting this as a byproduct. So the corresponding alkane will be obtained. Say for example, we are taking ethyl magnesium bromide. If we react it with water, it will be converted to ethane, C2H6 and MgXOH. How the reaction is taking place here? You may understand this way, that C2H5 MgBr. Now here this is positive, carbon is negative, and in water this is negative, this is positive. Now the positive of this will go to the negative of this, and that's how it will become C2H6, and this negative will go to the positive of this, and that's how it will become MgXOH. Please understand, here we are talking about the carbon magnesium bond. Thank you.